Hello members, welcome back here to another tutorial. This time this is going to be a bit more complicated but still simple. I'm Julius Kawalya, still presenting to you the basic Excel tutorials, basic formulas, basic functions, and the basic appearance of Excel or spreadsheet programs. So this time we're going to be looking at Vlookup. Vlookup is a value that is used to relate values from one range to another. So this is how it's going to work. It's basically applied when people are like grading, finding marks, and such things. These papers where you usually see, or your reports where you usually see D1, D2, C3, C4. So they use this function to calculate or look up values from a different range and compares it against the values in a given cell. So let us go to Vlookup. This is our Vlookup. I already designed a table here, and in this table we are having our table with the marks here, with the grades here, that if a person got from 0 to 30, that's a pass 8. Should it be a pass 8? Okay, let's call it a pass 8. Then we have 31 to 40, it's a pass 7, 40, like that. So let us try to see that if a person gets 90, what does she or he get here? If Juma scored 89 in this subject, what is going to be his grade here? So look and watch carefully. Remember, Vlookup, it looks up values vertically. Vertically is going up. So this is the formula. Be attentive and learn. So we shall start with an equal sign. When you put equal sign, you say Vlookup. We open our brackets. On opening our brackets, what do we want to Vlookup? We want to Vlookup this value here. Are you getting me? We want to look up a value here which is 90. Put a comma. Then next is the table with your gradings, or the range of the table with your gradings. So you come and you highlight your table with the gradings here. Then you put a comma. When you put a comma, it will ask you, I'm seeing 4 columns. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. If there are 4 columns, which column do I want to be reflected here? Now remember, these are the 2 columns that we may want to be reflected. One with P or one with 8. This is the letter grades, and these are the plain or the numeric grades. But this time let me try using the letter grades. So I have column 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I want column 3 to be reflected. So I put 3, then I put a comma. Then it will ask me for true and false, but I want an approximate match because that figure is in between a given range, that is from 91 to 100. So if I say a false and it gives me an exact match, it will look for where only an exact figure is 90, 80. So it won't return the right figures when you use false or exact match. So this time let me use true. I type in the word true, then I close my brackets. Then before I press enter, I go back here where you see these green ranges or the green cell pointers here. Then I click in the first one with the E, and I press F4 on my keyboard, and I click in the second one and I also press F4. So that is called absolute reference. We don't want the range of this table to change. You want it to remain constant so that it doesn't change. So absolute reference means the given range or the values in a given range, they don't change when you copy or when you replicate your formula. So from there I'll then press enter. I think we see this is D2. When I look here, it is 90 D2. Have you got me? So let us try it one more time. This time I'll say equals V lookup. Then I open my brackets. What do I want to look up? This time I want to look up Sandra. Then I put a comma. Where is my table range? My table range is here. I highlight all here. Remember, don't include the top headers or the headings. Start from where your 0 is up to your last mark. Then I put a comma. Which column on my table do I want to reflect where my grades are? I want column number 3 to be reflected. Then I put another comma. Then I say, if it finds a match, should it give me the exact match or should it give me an approximate match? I'll say I want to give me an approximate match. Then I close my brackets. After closing, before I press enter, I move my cursor. I place it between my range or my table range, the first one, which is E16. Then I press F4 and I also place it between H and I press F4. Then I hit enter. After hitting enter, then I can copy down my formula. Hope we are learning. So it is reflecting column number 3 against the marks that I have here. Hope we have learned the formula. So it is equals Vlookup D3, that is the cell which contains the value which you want to be compared to. Then this value range or the address range for the gradings, and then what column do you want to be reflected, and here true. So let us try it one more time, and this time we want to reflect this 4th column. So this time I'll say equals Vlookup. I open my brackets. What do I want to Vlookup? I want to Vlookup E here. Then I put a comma. Where is my table range? My table range is from here up to here. Then after there, I put a comma. This time, which column do I want to appear? This time I'm seeing, remember I told you we have 1, 2, 3, 4. I want the 4th column to appear. Instead of the 3rd, this time I want the 4th column to appear. Then I put another comma. This time I want it to be true. True. Then I close my brackets. Then I come back here still. I put my absolute reference, then I press enter. Where did we go wrong? So I want you to note here, it is showing me that this is a formula error, or it is not understanding. Whenever you get that error of name, that means your function has an error in it. Now you note here carefully, we didn't write Vlookup properly. Are you seeing it ended at Vlookup? So that is a wrong function. So the moment I put here P, then I press enter, I think you see things have worked like magic. So don't get scared when you find name. Name means there is an error in spelling, or you have written your function in a wrong way. So it's like writing sum, and instead of using SUM, you use SAM. It will return a wrong or an error having hash, then name, and then exclamation mark. So let us do it one more time. I'll say equals Vlookup, this time written properly. Open my brackets. What do I want to Vlookup? I want to Vlookup Sandra's marks, comma. Where is the table range? The table range is here, up to here. Then I put a comma. Which column do I want to appear? Column number 4. then I put a comma, it should give me the exact match. Then I close my brackets. Before I press enter, I come back here, I press F4 on my keyboard, then I press F4 again, which is function 4, F4, then I press enter. Guys, I think you see here. Wow, that's very great. So if I try to change here, if this one got 23 and I put 490, will it change? Wow, good. Let me try to put 95 and I see if it's still, yeah, she's now getting 1. Thanks for watching. Hope we learned. You can go on and practice. Hope to get another tutorial. Keep on practicing and learn.